Welcome back to month 3 of No Contact, Lil Bro. Let me just cut straight to the chase with this. If you have gone 3 months without hearing from your woman, your ex, there is a very high likelihood that she's in a relationship with somebody else or a situationship, which is more likely than an actual relationship. So you got that going for you. That does not mean it's hopeless, and I'll prove it to you here in a second. Usually what happens initially after the breakup, because it's much easier for a woman, they'll go out and get some low-level validation. They'll get some low-level guy, it doesn't even matter who. Just give me attention, just give me validation, just give me enough of your presence so I don't have to feel you. So I don't have to feel your relationship. So I don't have to feel the hole that I feel from you not being in my life. That's what her initial thoughts are when they first get out of the relationship. Now, 3 months down the road, she's probably found a guy, she's in a situationship, but here's the key point, is that if she jumped straight to him, he is a rebound. If they jumped in a week or two after your relationship has ended, that means that the 3-month mark should not bother you. Now, here's where it should bother you. If they were already messing around while you guys were still talking, while you guys were still interacting, before you had officially broken up, if she was interacting with another guy, flirting with him, all that good stuff, and maybe you don't know, but I'm just telling you, if she was doing that and now it's 3 months no contact, what it really means is that she actually jumped from relationship to relationship and not man to man. Okay, so the difference is with a rebound, it's not a relationship. They think it is. They want to believe it is. She wants to believe she's over you, but it's really just a distraction. Okay, that's why I say she'll jump from man to man and not relationship. If she was messing around before your relationship had ended, and it's the same guy, she jumped straight to him whenever you guys were officially over now, that relationship will actually last longer than a rebound. Those relationships do not typically last past 6 months, but a rebound relationship doesn't typically last anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So 3 to 6 month mark of a rebound relationship, which is odds are what the average woman gets if she jumps back into somebody immediately after you, is going to end within 3 to 6 months. Now look, that's just the average, okay? Yes, it could blossom into something, but the odds are really low because it was built on emotional instability. It wasn't built on mutual attraction. It wasn't built on anything other than her distraction from you. That is not a solid foundation for any relationship, which is why rebounds very rarely work out, which is why it's in your favor. I am saying that there is still a chance, and a good chance, that if she's in a rebound relationship, she will still come back to you. And the reason that it has taken 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months is because she's distracted by this new guy still, and his distraction is far more superior than that of just a casual fling she may have had when she got out of the relationship with you. Okay, let's get into how she's feeling. She's probably feeling your loss by now. If you have gone true no contact. Now, true no contact is not liking her posts, not viewing her story. You've heard me say this 1,000 times, but it is so important not to give her the slightest shred of validation, okay? You are to live like that woman has died. You are to make her live like you have died. You do everything you can not to run into her, not to let her see you. You don't click on her profile. You don't do anything. Now, you probably click on her profile, okay, I understand that. But here's the deal. If she can see that you viewed anything of hers, it's going to reset no contact. So if you view a story after 2 weeks of no contact, guess what? That doesn't count. Now you have to restart no contact from the day you viewed that story. If you reached out to her and just said, hey, you left your shoes at my place, that's breaching no contact. You have to start over no contact from the day that you reached out, from the day that you liked something. Doesn't matter. So people who go no contact and mess it up think that, oh, well, it's been 3 months and, you know, she still isn't back, but they're still liking her post. They're still viewing her story. They're still giving her validation. Stop, okay? No validation. Leave them alone. If you've gone no contact 3 months in, she has definitely thought about you, okay? You are still in her subconscious, and the only reason that you're going to come forward is when her distractions and her validation sources dry up. And what it typically means is, like I said, by the 3 month mark, she has some sort of a rebound thing, fling, situationship going on. That has got to die down for you to move from the subconscious in the back of her mind to the conscious. In other words, the comparisons start to happen. She starts to compare how it felt being with him and how it felt being with you. She starts to compare how he made her feel compared to how you make her feel. And what you've got to understand is that this is not about logic. This is just emotion, right? This is a relationship we're talking about. We're not talking about logic, because logically, people would act very differently. Logically, you would probably say to yourself, yeah, I should dump this girl and I could get a better girl like that. But we're not dealing with logic. We're dealing with emotion. You probably love this girl. You probably want her back. And that's fine. When you are in the back of her subconscious, right? She does everything she can to push you down and push you down and push you down. But even at the 3-month mark, even though she's in a situationship, even if she's sleeping with another guy, all of that just keeps you in the back of her mind. That doesn't mean you've gone anywhere. You're right there. Especially if you've walked away like a man, like you should. In other words, you didn't blow up, you didn't cry, you didn't beg, you didn't do any of that. Now, most guys do. I understand that. And if you've done that, okay, side point, it just prolongs no contact. So the more you screw up, the longer no contact is going to be. That's the general idea of it, okay? But you're still in the back of her mind. She still thinks about you whenever something triggers it. That song you guys always liked, the places you guys used to eat at, blah, blah, blah. Those things are still there. She's still trying to suppress you while she's with him. Now, when she starts liking your posts, viewing your stories, or anything breadcrumbing you like that, some guys get mad about that because they're like, what does this mean? Because you're still dealing with that hurt. Because I understand as a man, when someone hurts us, especially physically, it's like it's immediately escalated. Like, okay, come on. But you can't do that with women. You can't do that with relationships. Women will test you. They'll prick at you. They'll constantly do things like that to try and shove you off of your masculine center. And she's got to understand that there is nothing that she can do to remove you from the center, the core of your masculine strength. Nothing. Doesn't matter. She could blow up at you, get angry at you. She could scream at you. She could cry. And they all cry. Try to manipulate you through tears, try to manipulate you through emotions, guilt trip you. None of that works with you. You should learn how to be, here's the key word, stoic, okay? You need to take a page out of this book. Stoic just simply means nothing is able to move you. And when nothing's able to move you, a woman feels strength, and more importantly, she feels trust in you. That she can come to you about anything. It doesn't matter what she's feeling, how she's feeling. She knows that you are not only able to withstand her storm, but you can calm it. And you will be the center of her world for a very long time. She will be able to bond with you more than she's bonded with any other man because you are the center of the calm that she desperately needs. Given the fact that we're assuming 3 months in, she has a situationship, and there's a very high chance, even if it's hidden, even if you don't see it, okay, because some women are very good at hiding these things, that she's in a situationship and she is trying actively not to think about you. We're talking about 3 months into the situationship and not no contact necessarily, because usually there's a buffer of maybe even up to a month, right? So if she jumped into another relationship with this guy, even a month after you guys were over, that's still not enough time to get over somebody, not enough time to heal. That's not what healthy people do. She'll try to distract herself with this new guy, even jumping in a new relationship with him, claiming she loves him and everything else. But the thing is, that love isn't built on a deep emotional bond like she had with you. That love is built on validation seeking. It's built on emotional chaos. It's built on her dopamine activation. All of that feels like love to her, but it's just a mimic. It's not the real thing. So again, what she's actively trying to suppress is your memory and every single thing that reminds her of you. At the 3-month mark of their new situationship, of their new relationship, the honeymoon phase has completely died off. So that works in your favor. The honeymoon phase is over. In other words, the idolization, the fantasy that they have of each other being the perfect partner, and they're so glad they found them, and they couldn't believe how lucky they were to find each other, that's died off by now. Okay, the 3-month mark, it's definitely died off. So that's good. That means that you start to move from the subconscious to the conscious. What that means is she cannot actively suppress every single memory of you. Now, probably most of them. Like, she's probably not lying in bed and literally thinking about you holding her. But she probably is thinking about you, wondering about you. Just every once in a while. Maybe, if I had to really put a number on it, actively thinking about you now at the 3-month mark or around that mark, probably once a week. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but we're talking about consciously, not subconsciously. Subconsciously, you probably come up a few times, but consciously, where she's like, Huh, I wonder what he's doing. She throws it away like Shaq's shooting a free throw, all right? That thing is gone and nobody knows where it's going. Moving on. She's still doing everything in her power not to think about you because, again, those thoughts are bringing up pain, they're bringing up guilt, and she can't handle that right now. And she doesn't have to handle that right now as long as her new guy is still performing for her, is still validating her. But like I said, past the initial honeymoon phase typically lasts about 2 months, all right? If they're really hot and heavy, 3 months max, okay? And we're just talking about the honeymoon phase, we're not talking about the relationship. The honeymoon phase is over, they see each other for who they are, and now here's the deal. These are the comparisons, that's when they start, okay? And again, these are all subconscious to her. So she's not consciously sitting there and wondering, you know, his physique against yours or how much money he makes and how much money you make. It's all subconscious with her. She can feel it in her nervous system, in her heart, however you want to put it, but her mind is still actively suppressing you. What should you be doing? You should be doing exactly the same thing you have been doing. Do not reach out. Do not comment on anything. She may even try to throw her new man in your face. This is a very common tactic, especially with a narcissistic type of woman. They will post their new man like they're proud of him or something. 30 days into the relationship. And it's like, okay, all right, you did it. You got a man to sleep with you, which is apparently difficult. It's like, okay, you won your prize, congratulations. But that's all to trigger you. That is why she's doing it subconsciously. It's just to trigger you. That's all. And I'm telling you that from experience. If you do not let it trigger you, you don't even view the story. Like, forget about reacting to it. You shouldn't even be viewing the story to know it, okay? Now, I know the little swipe trick on Instagram, okay? I know the little, you can peek a little bit, but not actually view the story. Okay, fine. You want to play that game? If you want to risk that, that's on you. But, there are no unique experiences in this world, little bro. So what should you be doing? Well, by now, you should also not be spiraling, okay? You should be back to work, back to school, back to your old routine. You're still at the gym, you're still working out, and you should be. Because here's the deal. People will do more to escape pain than they will to embrace pleasure. And what I mean by that is when the breakup first happened, you went straight to the gym, and that's good. But here's the deal. That pain lessens over time, doesn't it? And that's why you feel a decrease in motivation to actually live your life, to level up, to get money, to do whatever it is that would level you up as a man. Because as that pain decreases, so does your motivation because it's directly tied to each other. That's why relying on motivation and not discipline is going to be your downfall. You've got to learn to stay disciplined. And if you're motivated, great, but you don't need motivation, you need discipline. Stay in the gym. If you left, you need to get right back in it. You need to be going a minimum 4 days a week. You need to be at your job and at school, if you go to school, like nothing happened, okay? You need to fight it. You need to be emotionally strong. Don't be crying to your friends. Don't be crying to her best friend. If you need to cry to somebody, cry to your God. Cry by yourself. And the reason you don't want to cry in front of your friends is because you run the risk of your friends saying something to one of her friends and it getting back to her that, hey, guess what? The whole 3 months y'all have been in no contact. Guess who's been secretly obsessed with you? And then guess what happens? Yeah, it's like you hadn't been in no contact the entire time and your buddy just ruined everything for you, okay? That's why you don't want to cry in front of your friends. Now look, maybe you've got some good friends who understand women. Unlikely, okay? Maybe you got some friends that shut their mouths, which is really great, but odds are you don't, all right? Odds are that if they could, your friends might get with your girl too. It is what it is. Stay in the gym, stay leveling up, work on yourself. You need to be developing discipline, emotional discipline, and physical discipline. Even if you don't feel like it, you need to show up. You need to be giving your best. You need to be leveling up. You need to be learning. And you're on the right track watching videos just like this. And I'll see you in the next one, little bro. You got this.